Hey guys, today I have a 60-minute power vinyasa flow for you. So go ahead and grab some water, maybe have a little towel nearby where you can wipe off some sweat because it's gonna get pretty toasty in here. And just a reminder that if you ever need to modify, ever need to adjust in any way, then do that. Honor your body, listen to your body. You know better than anyone else what it needs, so just keep that on the top of your mind today as you practice. So let's go ahead and get started in Supta Baddha Konasana. So coming onto your back, bringing the bottoms of your feet to touch, sending your knees out wide, and lying all the way down onto your back. And placing your hands just somewhere where they fall comfortably on your body, or maybe even next to your hips, palms facing up. Just find somewhere where you can settle in, where you can stay for several breaths. And right now, just breathe naturally. Taking inventory of your body. Does it feel tight anywhere right now? Taking inventory of your breath. Is your breath shallow right now? Is it uneven? And then just take inventory of where your head's at today. And whatever thoughts come up right now, especially when your body is still, our mind can start to race. Just find awareness of those thoughts and, not trying to resist and keep pressing them away to try to think of nothing. Just listen to those thoughts and just then let them pass. And use your breath as the tool to keep coming back to this present moment when you might start to get distracted. Allow your knees to fall a little bit heavier like magnets towards the earth. And then together, take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and sigh it out. Bigger breath in through your nose. Open up, sigh it out. Biggest breath yet. Inhale. Once you reach the top, see if you can sip in just a little bit more air. And then open up, empty out. And then seal your lips to touch. Coming into your Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi pranayama is a nostril-only breath. You're going to restrict the muscles along the back of your throat to where this is going to sound like an ocean's wave or like you're fogging up a mirror in front of you. So give yourself some permission to be heard, to create some sound, to take up more space in this room right now. And whatever is going on in your life right now, outside of the four corners of your mat today, just see if you can, for the next 60 minutes, to drop everything that's going on and just being right here on your mat. Allow yourself to drop everything onto your mat. And let this be a holding space for you of any emotions, whatever it may be. Let everything go on your mat today. And I want you to be reminded of this gift that we have to be able to show up, to be able to breathe, to be able to move. It's honestly such a gift. We're used to it, we're doing it 24/7. But we honestly have the gift of movement today. Not a lot of people get to have that. So just coming back to your body, your temporary home, your breath, and just being grateful for that and see if that changes the way you move on your mat today. Finish up this last Ujjayi breath. And then bring your hands to the outside of your knees and slowly close them like you're closing a book. Hug your knees into your chest. And drop your knees over to the left. Bump your hips slightly over to the right. Cactus out through your arms. So just be gentle. We're just starting to warm up. So you don't need to try to really press and find your fullest expression here. Just find that nice twist, starting to warm up through your torso. Keep using your breath. See if you can draw your right shoulder down a little bit more. Inhale, come back to center and just switch out your sides. Bump your hips over to the left, knees come over to the right. Dialing your shoulder blades down. Inhale, come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little side to side. And then coming into a soft, happy baby. So grabbing the blade edge side of your feet, melting your back and the back of your head down onto the mat, and then use your own body as resistance. So use your hands to draw your knees down towards the mat. And you're going to notice how tight you may feel in your inner thighs, in your hip flexors, all of your hip space. Find a little movement. Again, being really gentle. So if you feel any pain here, definitely let up. And then rock back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Hug them in and start to rock and roll north and south along your spine. Maybe about 3 to 4 times. And then bring yourself up to a seat. Coming into Sukhasana, easy seat. And go ahead, close your eyes. Coming back to center, just sitting up nice and tall. Stacking your head over your shoulders, shoulders come over your hips. And breathe in, just sweep your fingertips high towards the sky. And then drop your right hand down. Reach your left arm up and over. You can flutter your eyes open at this point. And see if you can draw your left hip down more. So sitting nice and heavy through both of your sits bones. And then from here, you're going to swing your left arm around in front of you and just rounding through your spine just to switch out to the other side. And then stay here, breathing into it. I love this stretch. And then to switch it out, same thing. Rounding through your spine, then moving a little bit quicker. So just make it a dance. Riding your breath along the way, warming up through your back body, your side bodies. All right, and then go ahead and finish up this side. Breathe in, come back to center, inhale, lift up. And then on your exhale, just come to a tabletop. So stacking your shoulders over your wrist. Your hips come directly over your knees. And have a nice long spine. Tuck your toes under if they're not already. The crown of your head is shooting forward. And then from here, lift your knees off of the mat just about 1 inch. So they might start to lift up because it seems a little bit easier doing it like this. But see if you can come to that hover. Press the mat away so you're rounding through your spine. And pressing your shoulder blades away from each other up towards the ceiling. Now come back to your breath. Now we're starting to find some more heat in our body, building that tapas, and using your breath to deepen that heat and get your muscles nice and warm. Breathe in. On your exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips up and back. Immediately start to find some movement. So pedal it out. It's like you're pawing your feet down onto the mat. And just take inventory of your body right now. So where do you have a lot of tension? Where do you feel really tight? So just go ahead and move and breathe into that space. Every body is different. So if you're with someone right now, just know that what's working in their body might not be the same for you, and vice versa. It's that practice of staying on the 4 corners of your mat and really turning in rather than comparing, Find some stillness, settling into your downward facing dog. So this is going to be our home base. You can keep coming back to this pose to allow yourself to recenter. And take a big inhale. Exhale, draw your torso closer towards the top of your thighs. And drag energy down through your heels, closer towards your mat. And then start to crawl your hands back towards your feet. This mic. And then make sure that your feet are hip-width distance apart, and then soften through your knees. So the goal here is just to try to get your torso to fall closer towards the top of your thighs. And then go ahead and just fold forward, grab opposite elbows coming into your hanging ragdoll. So keep softening the bend. Really allow your lower back to lengthen out, your spine to get nice and long. If movement feels good, sway side to side. My body feels very, very tight right now. And that's fine. Sometimes we have to let our ego just get out of the way and just be right here, right now, today. And sway back to center. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. And then release your hands from your elbows and take an interlace grip behind your back. Soften even more through your knees. Drag your knuckles towards the top of your mat. Drop your head. Rinsing out through your back body, through your shoulders, and just letting something roll off your back. What are you carrying with you? And see if you can just let that go. And let your mat catch it all. And then go ahead and release on your exhale. Crawl your fingers towards the top of your mat, landing into a high plank. So go ahead and stack your shoulders over your wrist. Your heels come over your toes, and then make sure that your hips are not up too high. We're not in downward facing dog, we're in a high plank. So you want to make sure that your hips are in alignment with your head, with your shoulders. And really think about your core. Think about center line, squeezing everything into that space. Back in the day when we were in gym class, we kind of sunk our chest down. It was kind of this situation, but think about protracting and pressing away and really scooping up through your lower belly. You can feel such a difference. And breathe in, shift your body forward, and then lower it all the way down onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of your feet down. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Breathe in, cobra pose. Roll your shoulders up and back. Feel that strength in your lower back. The tops of your feet are pressing down onto the earth. On your exhale, lower down, just tap your nose. Breathe in to lift back up. Draw your elbows back and in. Maybe you press down into your palms to lift up a little bit higher, keeping your elbows in. Or you can even hover your palms above your mat. Keep your gaze just right out past the tip of your nose so you're not cranking your head too high. Exhale to lower down. Tap one last time. Find your expression. Breathe in. Breathe out, release, tuck your toes under. Send your hips up and back, child's pose. So take your knees out wide. Inner edges of your big toes touch. Sink your hips back onto your heels. Crawling your fingertips forward, drop your head. Come back to center. Inhale. On your exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips up and back. Coming back to that home base. And settle in. Breathe in, rise high onto your toes, gaze forward, and take a couple steps to the top of your mat. Once you arrive, bring your feet to touch, keeping just a slight space through your heels. And press down, rise all the way up to stand on your inhale. As you sweep your fingertips high, lift them high towards the sky. Feel that lengthening through your entire body. Soften through your knees on your exhale, bow forward. Breathe in, halfway lift, flat back. On your exhale, fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Urdhva Hastasana, press down through your feet, rise up to stand, sweep your fingertips high. Soften through your knees, bow forward, release. Breathe in, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back to your high plank, 1 foot at a time. And plug everything back in, so hug your outer hips in. Find that center line. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, shift your body forward 1 inch. This time lowering down halfway for your chaturanga. Hold. Breathe in, upward facing dog. So your hips and your thighs lift off. So you're not sinking down too low. You want to really protect your lower back. And then downward facing dog is your exhale. Moving a little bit quicker, rise high onto your toes. Gaze forward, step or float to the top of your mat. If you're in an apartment, like I am right now, then maybe The whole hopping forward, hopping back thing may not happen today, and that's totally fine. So just know your surroundings and know what is appropriate or not. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana, get long. Exhale, soften as you melt forward. Breathe in, halfway lift to prepare. Plant your palms, step or shoot it back, Chaturanga. High to low plank, upward facing. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, land. Find your breath. Settle in. Inhale, rise high onto your toes, gaze forward, step or float to the top. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down, rise up, sweep up high. Exhale to fold forward, flat back. Breathe in, halfway lift, and Chaturanga, send it back. Nice controlled movements, one breath, one movement as you vinyasa, and downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rise high on your toes, gaze forward, hop to where you're looking. Ride that breath in for the halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down, rise up, Urdhva, lift up high. Exhale to fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, finding your flow. Lower down. Upward facing space along your heart. And downward facing dog. Right into the next sun A. Rise high on your toes, gaze forward. Bend your knees as you float. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down, lift up. Really starting to build your heat, yogis. Find your flow. And go through vinyasa. Take a breath in. Empty it out. Let's do one more sun A. Rise high. Gaze forward, travel to the top. Halfway lift. Exhale, release. Press down, lift up. Exhale to fold forward. Breathe in, halfway lift. And set yourself up. Plant your palms, send it back. Hugging your elbows in as you lower. And downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, rise high onto your toes. Gaze forward, bend your knees, hop to the top. Breathe in, halfway lift. On your exhale, fold. This time sinking low into Utkatasana, chair pose. So grounding down energy through your heels. See if you can get lighter in your toes. And gaze down if you cannot see your toes, and slide your hips back. And then tuck your tailbone under, lifting up through your chest. Spiral your pinkies in towards center line. And if you started to hold your breath, keep coming back to it. Tapping into that Ujjayi breath, nostril only breathing. And think about squeezing everything in towards center line. So knitting your front ribs together. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in. On your exhale, fold, release, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms, send it back, Chaturanga. Going from high to low plank. Upward facing, and downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high. Hit a plank or two along the way. And on your exhale, draw your knee towards your nose and step your right foot down, coming into warrior one. So you're spiraling your back foot down, pressing into the blade edge side of your left foot. Inhale to rise up. So you're creating a 90-degree bend in your front leg. So your knee is stacking over your ankle, pressing into your back foot. So think about just drawing your right hip back, left hip forward. It'll still be at a diagonal, probably towards the top left corner of your mat. And sink your hips low. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. And then on your exhale, coming into stealth warrior. So reaching towards the top left corner of your mat, and dropping your gaze to the arch of your back foot, and soften through your face. Soften through your jaw. Your core stays nice and activated, so your torso has a nice little lift in it. The bottom half of your body staying nice and strong, exactly how it was into your warrior one. Lengthening through your side bodies, through your spine. And then start to crawl your hands towards the back of your mat, coming into Skandasana. So your toes are going to go out, your heel is in, and sinking low, making sure that your right toes are facing towards the sky. Now this might feel really intense through your hip space, through your inner thighs, if you're really tight. So use your fingertips to give you a nice little lift so that your chest is lifted, and that will ease up the tension in between your hip space. If you feel open enough, you can bring your hands to heart center. Breathe in. Breathe out. And now turn your body to the back of your mat, coming into a low runner's lunge. So stack your heel over your toes. So keeping your back leg nice and strong. And stay strong through your core, so your torso is just hovering above your left thigh. Everything is nice and squared up. And you're coming into an easy twist. Right palm down, left fingertips come high. See if you can square your hips. Reach your fingertips up just a couple more inches. Breathe in. On your exhale, plant your back foot down, spiral open, warrior two towards the back of your mat. So adjust your feet so that your left heel is in alignment with the arch of your back foot. Send your hips lower, and then reach the crown of your head up higher. Keep thinking about tucking your tailbone under, knitting your front ribs together, and using your breath to deepen. On your next inhale, star pose. So parallel your feet, breathe in to reach up high, and then exhales warrior two towards the front of your mat. So it's changing your perspective along the way. Being mindful in your transitions, not feeling rushed. Even if we are moving a little bit quicker in the next round, be really mindful, not losing and compromising your form just as you're trying to go fast. So take your time and slow it down. Breathe in, flip your right palm, tip it back, find your peaceful warrior. So you're lifting up and out of your waist, but keeping the bend into your front leg. Inhale, straighten your front leg. So both legs are straight. Keep reaching back. And then start to tick-tock your body weight forward, bumping your hip back, really finding length, and then landing into a triangle pose. Stacking your left shoulder over your right. Keep drawing your navel back towards your spine. So your bottom hip tucks under. And act like you're pressing your spine up against a wall behind you. So if your chest is dipping down towards the ground, just find that lift. You can always crawl your fingertips up your shin a couple inches. So think about getting your left rib cage to lift up towards the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now bring your left hand down to your left hip. We're coming into a half moon. So for the sake of space, I'm just going to shift back slightly. So gaze down, look at your right big toes, plant your fingertips down, launch and lift off to your half moon. So you want to make sure that your right toe isn't sickling in. A lot of times we do that for the balance, but see if you can get that better alignment. Then use your breath as your stability, stacking your left hip over your right. You can keep your gaze down, or you can start to crawl your gaze across the floor, maybe to where the floor and the wall meet. Then maybe up the wall to where the wall and the ceiling meet, and then maybe eventually up towards the ceiling. Soften through your right leg as you step back. See if you can land into your warrior two. Flip it and tip it back, find your peace, and cartwheel your hands down, frame your right foot, step it back, high to low plank, upward facing. Adho Mukha, downward facing dog, settle back into your home base. Completely letting that side go. Whatever did or didn't happen, allow yourself to reset. And then breathe in to lift your left leg high. Hug your knee towards your nose, round in, step it through, warrior one. So get your footing first. Inhale to rise up. Sinking your hips low. Crown of your head goes up higher. Bringing your biceps close to your ears. Stacking your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. And this time drawing your left hip back. Right hip forward slightly. Use your breath. If you start to get distracted in your thoughts, keep coming back to that breath. Create some sound. Take up more space in the four corners of your mat. Breathe in to lengthen. And then stealth warrior on your exhale. Reach towards the top right corner of your mat. Drop your head, gaze towards your back foot. Keep your spine nice and long. Core stays activated. Keep the integrity of your front leg, so your knee is stacking over your ankle. Allowing your inner thigh and your hip space to open up. Preparing you for Skandasana, crawl towards the back of the mat. Bend deep into your right leg, this time lengthening through your left leg, shining your toes up towards the sky. Toes are out, heel in. Again, you can use your hands or your fingertips as an assist to lift you up, or you can bring your hands to heart center. As your hips sink low, your chest lifts up nice and proud. Breathe in. On your exhale, coming into your runner's lunge towards the back of your mat. So square yourself up, and then coming right into your easy twist. Left palm down, right fingertips high. And squaring off through your hip space. So if your left hip is dipping down, see if you can plug it back up to meet your right. And creating a nice long T shape through your arms, through your wingspan. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, fill up. And then plant your back foot, spiraling open to a warrior two towards the back of your mat. Realign your feet. Find your stance and then settle in. Pressing so firmly down through your foundation that you feel like you could split your mat in half. On your next breath in, star pose, parallel your feet. Inhale to reach up, and then warrior two towards the front of your mat. Sink your hips low. Find your breath. Inhale, flip your left palm, tip it back for peace. Bend deeper into your front leg. Straighten your front leg, keep reaching back. Space from the top of your hip to the bottom of your rib cage. And then glide your body forward for your triangle pose. Find length before you land. Keep your chest nice and lifted. Making sure that your left big toe is facing true north and is not sickling in. Find your alignment here through your footing so it's easier in the transition into your half moon. A few more rounds of breath. And tuck your bottom hip under, drawing your belly button back towards your spine. Inhale. On your exhale, bring your right hand to your right hip. I'm going to shimmy on back so I have some space. And then launch and lift off into your half moon. So find a lot of buoyancy through your front leg to allow yourself to launch and lift off. Right hip is stacking over your left. Your lifted foot is nice and flexed like it's stamping against the wall behind you. Find your drishti, find your gaze. Notice how one side may feel different, it's totally normal. Deepen through your breath. Breathe in. And with control, see if you can step it on back, landing into your warrior two. Flip it and tip it for your peace. And chaturanga, frame your left foot. Step it back, flow it out. Find any modifications, any adjustments you need along the way. And settle into your downward facing dog. Salsa out your legs for a breath. And then find some stillness. Take a big breath in. Open up, sigh it out. Inhale, rise high into your toes. Gaze forward, travel to the top of your mat. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sink low into your chair pose. Not here for too long. See if you can find more depth. Squeezing in towards center line. Wrapping everything in from skin to muscle to bone. Soften through your jaw. One more breath in. On your exhale, release. Halfway lift, flat back. And chaturanga, send it back. Downward facing dog. One more round on each side, yogis. Lift your right leg high. Knee to nose, hug in, step it through, warrior one. Breathe in to rise up. And on your exhale, stealth warrior, so moving just a little bit quicker. Drop your gaze. Crawling to the back of your mat, coming into your skandasana. Maybe this time you take your hands to heart center. If you want just a little bit more, you can take your left fingertips down, right fingertips high, finding a little twist. And runner's lunge towards the back of your mat. Lift your hips, set yourself up. Easy twist. Open up your heart to the left edge of the mat. And then warrior two, plant your back foot. Windmill open, land here. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, warrior two to the front. Flip it and tip it, find your peace. Reverse the triangle, straighten both legs, keep reaching back. And then triangle pose, glide forward. 2 full rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hand down to your hip. Gaze down, launch, lift off, half moon. Maybe this time you find a different variation. You can reach around and grab your foot behind you and hugging your heel in towards your glute. Really lengthening through your quad muscle. Give a little water through your standing knee. And if you fall out, it's not that big of a deal. Just come right back in. Allow the four corners of your mat to be the space where you get to fall out of something. You get to mess up and keep trying again. And slowly release, stepping it back to your warrior two. Flip it and tip it for your piece. And chaturanga, touch the earth, flow it out. Where you always have the option just to come down to downward facing dog. One more side. Lift your left leg high, three-legged. Knee to nose, round in, step it through, warrior one. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, stealth warrior, reach towards the top right corner of your mat, drop your head. Breathe in. And crawl to the back of your mat, skandasana. Deepen the bend through your right leg, lengthening out your left. You can find that variation if you took one on the other side. Opening up through your heart, lift it towards the sky. Unwind, coming into your runner's lunge, and then right into your easy twist. Heart opens towards the right edge of your mat. And then on your exhale, plant your back foot. With control, windmill open for your warrior two. Inhale, star pose, reach up high. And then opening up, warrior two towards the front of the mat. Flip and tip it back for peace. Reverse to triangle, straighten both legs. And now tick-tock forward, move like you're moving through honey. And then coming into your triangle pose. 2 full rounds of breath. And keep your heart lifted. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Gaze down, launch, lift off, half moon. If you took the variation on the other side, do the same thing here. Even though one side might feel different, still work to see if you can find that balance, even if you have to modify. Pressing through all 4 points of your left foot. Feel that length happening through your quad. Breathe in. And slowly release. And step it on back. Warrior two. Flip it and tip it for your piece. And dance it on down. Flow it out. Inhale, upward facing. Downward facing dog. Home base. Take a big breath in. Open up. Let it go. One more cleansing breath in. Fill up. Open your mouth. Release some heat. Inhale, rise high into your toes. Gaze forward. Travel to the top. Breathe in. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now press down through your feet. Soften through your knees. As you rise up to stand, one-legged Tadasana. So you're hugging your right knee into your chest. Reaching your fingertips high. So squaring through your hips. And softly tuck your tailbone under. Belly button back towards your spine. Nice and tall. Breathe in. On your exhale, find an open twist. So your left fingertips come forward, right fingertips come back. Opening up your heart. You have a few options. You can stay right here. If you want to grab your knee with your left hand, hugging it in to find more of a twist. Or you can always grab the blade edge side of your foot and pressing it out long. A challenge would be to gaze back at your fingertips and see if you can try to have your hips be a little bit more square. And then slowly release. Come back to the one-legged Tadasana. And then place your right ankle over top of your left thigh. And then sink your hips back, coming into a funky chair. Hands to heart center. Just opening up through your hip space. Keep sinking back. Press your palms into one another. Roll your shoulders up and down your back. And stay right here. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Inhale. On your exhale, step your right foot behind your left as you just curtsy, bow forward. Airplane your arms behind you, softening through both of your legs. Allow something just to roll off your shoulders onto your mat. Allow your mat just to hold whatever you're holding on to. And then on your next breath in, bring your right foot next to your left. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, just switching out our side. So press down, rise up. This time your left knee comes into your chest. Breathe in, lift up, finding more length, reaching towards the sky. And then taking an open twist, opening your chest towards the left side of the mat. Again, you can find a variation. Hugging your knee in. Or if you'd like, you can grab the blade edge side of your left foot and then use that resistance, press it forward, and try to square off through your hips. Challenge would be to gaze back at your fingertips. Good, inhale. And release, one-legged Tadasana. Inhale, lift up. And then take your left ankle over top of your right thigh, sink your hips back low. Making sure that your left foot is nice and flexed, just avoiding injury through your knee. Hands come to heart center. And drawing your hips down towards the mat. Opening up your hip space. So send your breath to that space that feels tight. Inhale. On your exhale, release, step it behind you, curtsy bow forward. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your left foot next to your right. Breathe in, halfway lift, flat back. And plant your palms, send it back, chaturanga. High to low plank, upward facing. And downward facing dog, back to our home base. Take a big breath in. Open up, sigh it out. Breathe in to lift your right leg high, pressing your heel back. And then on your exhale, knee to nose, round in, cheetah pose. It's like your knee is tapping your nose. And on your inhale, send it back, three-legged. Cheetah pose, knee to nose, round in. Step your foot down, coming into a high crescent lunge. So here, everything's gonna be squared off. Get your foundation first, and then breathe in to lift up. So hips are square, chest are square over the top of your mat. Head is stacking over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. You can soften through your back knee if that feels better. Breathe in. On your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale to find new breath. And then on your exhale, twist. So hooking your left elbow to the outside of your right knee or your right thigh. Press your palms into each other. So you're finding a rotation through your torso, opening up your heart. Finding a nice twist. Your back leg stays nice and strong. Allow this to be the engine. To find more space, shift your body forward a little bit more. Energetically squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. You got it, breathe in. And twist a little bit deeper. Not far from the ground, release into your easy twist. Right fingertips go high. Coming into horizon lunge. So I like to take my left hand out just a couple inches. You're gonna roll onto the blade edge side of both of your feet. So you're dropping your hips low, working into that IT band stretch. Reach towards the back of your mat. See if you can drop your hips even lower down towards your mat for that really nice deep stretch. Breathe in. And as you unwind, crawling over to the left edge of your mat for your Prasarita. So your toes are in, heels out. And drop your head. You can take your hands around your ankles. Maybe just place them under your face. Or you can reach through your legs, reaching behind you. If it feels really tight on your hamstring, lower back, then just soften slightly through your knees. With every exhale, see if you can get the crown of your head just a little bit closer towards your mat. Soften through your face, soften through your jaw. Just allow your body to do the work. And play with transferring the weight from the fronts of your feet to the back. If you feel like you're going to fall, I promise you're not far from the ground. And then wherever you are, slowly release, placing your hands in front of your face so that you can find a halfway lift. And then crawling your hands towards the top of your mat, coming into a pyramid pose. So bump your back foot up, widen your stance and shorten your stance. And then fold over your right leg. I like to reach my fingertips towards the top of my mat so that I'm mindful of keeping a nice long spine and not just rounding in, just trying to touch my nose towards my shin. When you stay nice and long through your spine, you can really feel the depth through your hip flexor, through your hamstring. Sometimes we have to just set our ego aside so that we have better alignment and not just trying to get into the deepest pose, because sometimes when we do that, we compromise our form, we can injure ourselves. So give yourself permission to slow down, to be more mindful of what your body's telling you. Keep drawing your hips back while you reach the crown of your head forward at the same time. We're coming into a standing split, so you can go ahead and bring your right foot more towards center line and press down through your right foot to lift your left leg high, coming into your standing split. Most of us, this looks like a standing L. You want to drop your left hip to meet your right. You can reach your fingertips forward. You can always bring your right hand around your right leg and use that resistance for your depth. And keep thinking about squaring your hips. Your lifted foot is nice and activated. Breathe in for length. On your exhale, bring your left knee behind your right knee and soften into both legs so they both have a bend. And then breathe and press it back out, standing split. Exhale, left knee behind your right. Inhale, lengthen out. One more time and then stay right here. And then you can stay here or come into a baby grasshopper. So I'll guide you through it. I'll turn this way. So you want to take your left hand over just a couple inches. Think chaturanga through your left arm so your elbow stays hugged in. Bring your right hand to the blade edge side of your left foot, the one that's lifted, and you're going to slowly lower. And so you're going to bend through your front leg, straighten through your left at the same time. Sorry, my hair's all up in the way. And then lower your hips down. Keep hugging your elbow in. So your right arm is in front of your shin, gazing towards your foot. Keep yourself lifted, breathe in, and then as you exhale, just plop down and let it go. And now if you were in baby grasshopper, you landed right here. If not, just bring your right foot on the outside of your left leg. Breathe in, lift your left fingertips high, and then find a twist. So we weren't there very long, so you can take that pose and play with it a little bit later on. So whether it happened for you, if it didn't happen for you, to see if you can let that go, not being held on by a certain pose in your practice, not having to take it all so seriously, bringing back that childlike quality, allowing yourself to play around, fall out of stuff, and have a little bit of fun with it. Breathe in to lengthen through your spine. And on your exhale, gaze past your right shoulder. One more breath in. Empty out and slowly unwind. Cross your legs, plant your hands, come back to your downward facing dog. We have one more side to go. Once you're settled in, lift your left leg high. Knee to nose round in cheetah pose. Send it back, three-legged. Cheetah pose, knee to nose, hug in, step it through, high crescent lunge. Square yourself up, get your strong foundation, breathe in, lift up high. Sink your hips low. Breathe in. On your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Fill up with new air, and then twist to the left. Hooking your right elbow outside of your left thigh, your left knee. And again, really use that pressure between both of your palms to open your heart. See if you can bring your thumbs more towards the center of your sternum. Really feel that twist, wringing everything out. You can put a smile on your face. And again, not far from the ground. So releasing, coming to an easy twist. Lift your left fingertips high. And then coming into horizon lunge. So again, you can just place your right palm up just a couple inches. And then rolling onto the blade edge side of both of your feet, dropping your hips low. Reach towards the back of your mat. Put a little softness through your elbow and your standing arm. Breathe in. As you unwind, Prasarita towards the right edge of your mat. Toes come in, heels out. And then this time, see if you can grab an interlace grip behind your back. Drop your head, shake it yes, shake it no. And then draw your knuckles towards the ground. Rinsing out through your shoulders, through your back body. Again, whatever you're holding on to, see if you can allow that just to roll off your back, off your shoulders, and then onto your mat. Reminding yourself that your mat is a safe space. And dropping all of your worry, and dropping anything that's happening outside of the four corners of your mat. And giving yourself the gift of your yoga practice, time for yourself. Dedicated time to breathe and move in a way that feels good in your body. And then taking what you experienced and learned on your mat, off of your mat, into the rest of your day. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, release, bring your hands underneath your face, find a halfway lift, and then crawling towards the front of your mat, coming into your pyramid pose, bumping your back foot up, widening your stance, shortening your stance. Find a halfway lift and fold over your left leg. See if you can press about 5 to 10 more pounds into your back foot, just to see if you can distribute the weight evenly through both of your feet. Keep drawing your hips back, crown of your head forward. 2 more rounds of breath. And coming into your standing split. So toe heel your left foot more towards center line. And then lift leg high. See if you can get your torso closer towards your left leg. Sending sparks through your toes behind you. Like they're reaching. Inhale for that length. On your exhale, bring your right knee behind your left. Soften through both legs. Breathe in, use your power, lengthen back out. On your exhale, hug in. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, hug in. And then coming into your baby grasshopper, if you did on the other side. I'll walk you through it again. Bring your right palm out a few inches, hugging your elbow in. Left hand comes to the blade edge side of your right foot. Bend through your front leg, straighten through your lifted leg at the same time as you lower your hips. Your arm comes in front of your shin. Hug your elbow in. Allow it to be a little shelf. So you're just hovering right above the earth. Breathe in. And on your exhale, just plop it down. You can turn back towards the front of your mat. So your left foot is on the outside of your right leg. Move any flesh from underneath you. And then breathe in, lift your right fingertips high, and then finding a twist. Gazing over your left shoulder. Keep reaching the crown of your head up higher. For more of a challenge, you can bring your fingertips closer towards you, and that'll give you a little bit more lift. One more round of breath. At the bottom of that exhale, unwind. And then from here, we're going to come into our back bends. So just release that, send your legs out long, and lower all the way down onto your back. Melting your spine down. Bring your feet hip-width distance apart. So we're going to do 2 back bends today. So for the first one, let's try out bridge. So your feet are hip-width distance. Hug your heels in enough to where your fingertips will graze the back of your heels. Melt your shoulders down. Melt the back of your head down. And then on your next breath in, press down to lift up. So your hip points are pressing towards the sky. Your chest is opening up towards the back of the room. And act like you have a block between your inner thighs that you're squeezing and that you do not want to drop. Hugging in towards center line. Keep some space from your chin to your chest. You can press down through your palms for that lift. You can grab the edges of your mat. I like this one the best. And it gives you a little bit more lift. A lot of more lift. Or you can take interlace grip behind your back. Snuggle your shoulders closer together. And then press up and away. Breathe in. And then slowly release, slowing down, nice and slow and controlled. And now you can go ahead and do a second bridge, or if you'd like, you can set yourself up for wheel. Option's yours, find what your body needs today. So I'm gonna go for wheel. Place your hands next to your ears. Set yourself up. Find a good, strong foundation. Before you lift up, breathe in. Once you reach the bottom of that exhale, on your next breath in, press down to lift up. Keep pressing the earth away, pressing your chest towards the wall behind you. Again, act like you have that block in between your thighs, whether you're in wheel or a bridge, squeezing towards center line. Feel the difference. And counting down together, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, and nice and controlled. Bring the bottoms of your feet to touch. And take your knees out wide, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, just how we started. Bring your hands onto your body for that connection. Feeling your heartbeat begin to slow down as your breath starts to slow down with it. And take a big breath in. Open up, sigh it out. So noticing what comes up for you when your body gets still. Where does your mind go? So that's the practice. Trying to get your mind and your body still at once. Most days it doesn't happen. We're human, we have thoughts that come up. But it's just about acknowledging what comes up. And then just seeing if you can allow it to pass. And focus on your breath. Taking inventory of your body. Now take your hands, the outside, close them together like you're closing a book. Hug your knees into your chest. And then plant your feet down just like you were in bridge pose. And coming into figure 4 on our backs. So take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Make sure that your foot stays flexed. You can stay right here, or you can use your right hand by pressing your right leg away from you. Or you can reach behind your left thigh, hugging your knee in, making sure this foot is flexed as well. And grab your shin. So you have several options. You can straighten your left leg. So see what works in your body best to open up through your hip space, allowing your body to restore. Making sure that your neck is in alignment with your spine, not cranking up too much. And if it is, just slowly bring your chin towards your chest and place the back of your skull down onto your mat. And release this side, just switch it out. See if you can find the same variation that you just did. And you flex your feet just to avoid injury through your knees. And then when you're ready, release. Hug your knees into your chest. Curl into a tiny ball. And release and come into happy baby. Grab the blade edge side of your feet and draw your knees down towards the mat. Noticing how much more open your body feels this time around. You can sway left to right. If you have the space, maybe you can start to straighten out one leg, maybe the other leg at the same time. If you're swaying, come back to center. Hug your knees in. Find any last little movements or adjustments that your body's craving that we didn't get to today. And then once you're ready, release all of your limbs down onto your mat. Flopping your feet out to the corners of your mat, palms come next to your hips, and facing up. And take a cleansing breath in. And open up, sigh it out. Coming into your final resting pose, into your Shavasana. You have the option to stay here in your Shavasana if you have the time. Or you can meet me by finding some movement, wiggling your fingers and your toes, rolling out your ankles and your wrists. Reach your arms above your head, take a stretch. And bring your knees into your chest. And with your eyes closed, make your way up to a seat. Stacking your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. Sit up nice and tall. Breathe in, reach your fingertips high. And on your exhale, bring your palms to touch and drag them down next to your heart. And take another cleansing breath in. Empty out. Bring your thumbs up to third eye center. Remember, yogis, to always allow your passions to burn brighter than your fears. And take something that you learned on your mat today, off of your mat and into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for showing up and allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Go in peace, yogis. Namaste.